إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، فإن كل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise is due to Allah. We thank Him. We seek His help and His assistance. We seek refuge in Him from the evil of our own selves and from the consequences of our bad deeds. Whomsoever Allah has guided, then there is no one who can lead him astray. Whomsoever Allah has allowed to stray, no one can guide him after that. I openly testify that there is no deity worthy of worship other than Allah, who is alone, without any partners, and that Muhammad is His servant and final messenger. To proceed, verily the best speech is the book of Allah, and the finest guidance is the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the most evil of affairs are the newly invented matters in the religion. For every newly invented matter in the religion is an innovation. And every innovation is a straying. Every straying is in the hellfire. As for what follows, this evening we have a very important discussion, a very important topic that needs to be discussed and understood properly. An issue that not only is important because it is related to our beliefs and a very important part of our beliefs, but also that it relates to believing and disbelieving. That not only if a person errs with his understanding and application of this topic, will he be violating the correct aqeedah and falling into a contradiction to the book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Not only that, but a lack of understanding in this issue, an improper implementation of what is required from a Muslim in this issue, can lead a person outside of the religion of Islam. So it is not an easy affair, not a simple one, not one to be put on the back burner, not one to be considered as an issue that is not relevant in these days and times. Rather, it is an issue of the utmost concern, the utmost urgency, that each and every Muslim understand the stance that is required from him in this issue and apply it in his life and in the lives of his families accordingly. The enemy of mankind, the enemy of goodness, Iblis, la'natullahi alayhi, he has many different tactics and many different ways that he tries to use to lead the children of Adam astray. He is khabith, he is filthy in his nature, and he is crafty, and he is our sworn enemy. And he has sworn by Allah Azza wa Jal. He has taken an oath by the honor of Allah Azza wa Jal. فَبِعِزَّتِكَ لَأُغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. He said, swearing by the honor of Allah, I'm going to lead all of them astray. And He's even given us, as has come in the Qur'aan, an indication about His determination in leading mankind astray. He said, لَأَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ ثُمَّ لَآتِيَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ وَعَنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ وَعَنْ شَمَائِلِهِمْ. I'm going to sit in wait along your straight path, addressing Allah Azza wa Jal. Then I'm going to come to them, the children of Adam, from in front of them, and from behind them, and on their right, and from their left as well. He will come to us from each and every angle, as He has sworn by Allah that He'll do this. The meaning of this is that the shaitan will not pass up the slightest opportunity to lead mankind astray, and will come directly at you with direct invitations to make shirk and to disbelieve in Allah and to reject the Qur'an and to fall into affairs which will lead you to the hellfire. And he will come from behind you with sneakier and more crafty attempts He will come from your right and from your left and from every angle. And he will not rest. He will not become satisfied with leading only a few people astray. He will not become satisfied with leading most of the people astray. He will not become satisfied with himself until he has accomplished his goal, until he leads every last one of the people astray. Our sworn enemy, this is his case. From the very time of conception of a child, at the time of intercourse, Muslims are taught to seek refuge in Allah from his evil. And we are taught a dua from the Prophet ﷺ at the time of conception, that when a man goes to his wife, he seeks refuge in Allah Azza wa Jal, and he says, Allahumma jannibna shaytan wa jannib ash-shaytan ma razaqtana. Oh Allah, keep the shaitan away from us, and keep the shaitan away from what we might conceive. Showing the importance of, even from that time we begin our efforts and our responsibility as protectors and nurturers of children. From the time of conception. Then when the child is born, we learn from the Messenger ﷺ that this evil enemy of ours, this crafty and creative enemy of ours, uses a tactic or comes at this time, a time of weakness for a newborn child. When the child is first born, the shaitan comes and pricks him in his side. Because the shaitan is an opportunist. Because the shaitan is filthy. Because he will not pass up the slightest, smallest opportunity that he can find to harm the children of Adam. So realize the goal of your enemy. Realize the determination of your enemy. Realize that his ways and his paths to try to lead you astray are so many. And we have been taught as well, when we come into the house, to mention the name of Allah. Why? So that the shaitan will not enter into our houses with us. Again, protecting our house, protecting our wives, protecting our children, again, from the harms of that sworn enemy. And so the shaitan will say, if we have sought refuge in Allah and mentioned His name, they will say, La mabita lana huna. We have no chance to stay here in this house tonight. And the Prophet ﷺ, from his many ways of guidance and his love for this ummah, he has shown us how we can take steps to protect us from this sworn enemy. He has told us to bring our children into the houses at the time of Maghrib, before the sunset. Bring them in and close the doors and mention the name of Allah over the doors. Because the shaitan, as he mentioned, spreads out at that time in great numbers. The devils are plentiful and many at that time. So we bring our children in at that time when the Prophet ﷺ told us we are in danger because of the many devils that will be spread out at that time. The scholars mentioned as a point of benefit that the reason we are specifically to bring the children inside, and we are all afraid of the devil at this time, and none of us are safe from him. We are all to be cautious and to seek refuge in Allah from the shaitan at that time specifically and throughout our day. But why specifically are we told to bring the children inside and to keep them behind closed doors at that time? Because as the ulama say, they don't have the supplications and the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal that will keep them protected from the shaitan, like older children have, like older people have. The children are susceptible because why? It's not easy for children to keep the mention of Allah. They're playful and they lose the remembrance of Allah and they don't memorize many supplications. So that being the case, we take care of them and we hold true to our responsibility as parents and take every step and precaution that we can to protect them from this sworn enemy. So as parents, we are to protect ourselves and we are to protect our flocks from everything that becomes known to us that it is one of the plans of the shaitan to harm us or our children. And he has, as we mentioned, many different ways. Many we recognize and many we are not able to recognize. Unfortunately, or sadly enough, due to a great heedlessness, a great amount of heedlessness that has befallen many of the Muslims all over the world, they fail to recognize one of the shaitan's most obvious ways of entrance into the Muslim households. One of the most obvious